Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I lowered the mic. I've been doing that since 1984. I did it at the Tropic Lounge. I did it at Elitch Gardens. I did it at the turn of the century. I did it at every room in Denver that would have me, and a few that wouldn't. My name is Arthur Carlson. I did stand-up comedy for 25 years, 1984 to 2009. 25 years of lowering mic stands, navigating stages, and making rooms full of strangers laugh at things they were definitely not supposed to laugh at. And tonight, I'm going to take you back. Because somewhere between my first open mic and my last curtain call, I found a time machine, and I used it, and I met the legends. Did they see me coming? They had to look down to. First, stop the Tropic Lounge. Beautiful place. Bamboo walls, Mai Tais the size of your head, and cigarette smoke so thick it had its own area code. I walk in, and the room goes quiet. Not the famous person, quiet, the other quiet. The did a child just wander in unsupervised? Quiet. The bartender leans way over the bar and says slowly like I might not speak English, "Son, are you lost?" I said, "Sir, I am a comedian. I am here to perform." He goes, "How old are you?" I said, "Old enough to know that's none of your business." He gave me a Shirley Temple. I didn't argue. It had a little umbrella. I looked fabulous. Then Phyllis Diller walks in. Wild hair, wild laugh, wild everything. She walked into a room like a lightning bolt had decided to wear a feather boa. She sees me at the bar, looks at the bartender, looks back at me, and she goes in that voice. "Hee hee 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 hee. Honey, are you the opening act or the punchline?" I said, "Both, Miss Diller, same as you." She laughed for 45 seconds. Then she bought me a real drink, and she said, "Arthur, the ones who tell you that you don't belong up there have never had the guts to get up there themselves." I kept that, right here. Next, Elitch Gardens Theater. For you out-of-towners, a full working theater inside an amusement park. Roller coasters, cotton candy, live comedy. Only in Denver. Backstage, I run into Flip Wilson, the man who gave us Geraldine. The man who told us the devil made me do it before any of us had an excuse for our behavior. Immaculate suit, perfect timing, charisma that needed its own dressing room. He looks at me and says, "Little brother, what is your act?" I said, "I talk about my life, my disability, the world I make people laugh at the things that make them uncomfortable." Flip nods slowly. "That's the only comedy worth doing." Then he says, "Now get out of my mirror." I was blocking his reflection. Valid complaint. The turn of the century. That was a room, people. At the bar, David Brenner and Frank Gorshin, deep in conversation. Brenner, classic New York deadpan, goes, "Kid, how long you been doing this?" I said, "Going on a few years now." "Stand up?" "Mostly. Some sitting down, depending on the venue." Frank Gorshin looks at Brenner, looks at me, then, "Hey, I like this one, David. He's got Riddle energy." I didn't know what Riddle energy was, but I absolutely accepted it. Brenner pulled me aside and said, "Arthur, every comedian has a hook. Yours is already built in. Don't hide it. Lead with it. Make them see you before they have a chance to look away." Best advice I ever got. 2 a.m, a guy at a bar. Comedy is beautiful. Now, I also crossed paths with Joan Rivers. I know what you're thinking. "Arthur, did you survive?" "Barely." She walked in dripping in sequins and shoulder pads, looked at me, and didn't even blink. She looked down and said, "Can we talk?" "Honey, with that height and that shirt, you better be funny, or they're gonna think you're the ring bearer at a tacky wedding." I took the note. She was right about the shirt. 1984 to 2009. 25 years. The Tropic Lounge, Elitch Gardens, the turn of the century. Phyllis Diller, Flip Wilson, David Brenner, Frank Gorshin. Some of them saw me and saw a gimmick. Some saw someone with no business being in those rooms. And some of them looked me in the eye and said, "You belong up here." I started in 1984 because I had something to say and no other way to say it. When you look like me, everyone has already decided something about you before you open your mouth. Stand-up was the one place where the only thing that mattered is what comes out of here. 25 years. The mic stayed low, the glasses stayed on, And every single night, I was the funniest person in the room. Don't argue with me. I have receipts and a time machine. Thank you, Denver.